Hey guys, this is Kip Shear. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the differences between flipping lower priced houses and higher priced houses. Similarities, differences, and why at the end of the day I have chosen personally to try to focus on higher priced homes. So let's get into it. All right, so first off, let's talk about the similarities between flipping a lower priced home and a higher priced home. Two key similarities, and that is time and cost, surprisingly enough. Time is about the same, honestly, between flipping a lower priced home and a higher priced home. You still have all the construction that has to be done. You got to rip out all the old stuff. You got to put in the new stuff. So doing a more expensive house doesn't necessarily take more time. If you have a 2,000 square foot house that costs $200,000 or a 2,000 square foot house that costs $800,000, the time to flip both of those houses is going to be about the same. Costs are pretty similar. You'd be surprised. You would think that an $800,000 house is going to cost a lot more than a $200,000 house. But as long as they have the same number of bathrooms, the same square footage, same number of bedrooms, the only difference in your costs is going to be using a little bit nicer finishes in the higher priced home. And in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of a budget, the finishes are not a huge portion of that budget. They're maybe 10%. So your 10% portion of your budget is going to be a little higher with the higher priced home. But everything else, your wood, your tile, your drywall, all the hard construction costs are the same between those two homes. The project scope and the project costs on a whole is pretty similar. The difference, obviously, is your starting price and your ending price. So now let's get into some of the differences between flipping a lower priced home and a higher priced home. I talked about how the construction costs are pretty comparable between a lower priced home and a higher priced home. The major difference, though, is the purchase price. Obviously, in a higher priced home is more. If you're buying a $200,000 home and you get a hard money loan and you have to put down 10%, let's say, you're only putting down $20,000 to buy the house. Now, if you're buying an $800,000 house, that's $80,000. So your upfront costs are way higher. So you need bigger pockets, or you need investors to help you cover the costs that a hard money lender won't cover. So it's obviously a little bit more of a risk. You got to come in with more cash. But the reward is there because the purchase or the sale price is going to be higher too. So you might be able to get a bigger profit margin on the back end to reward yourself for the higher upfront cost. Your purchase price money is a little higher. The bigger aspect is the details have to be really, really on point for a higher priced home. You really need to be experienced to do these because the experience of making mistakes in the past is what tells you what not to do in the future. I've done so many homes where I've done something like I updated the house, but I didn't put enough money into landscaping. On a lower priced house, that doesn't really matter that much. People are just grateful to have a really brand new house. And they'll think, well, in the future, maybe I'll put some money into landscape. At the higher price, people kind of expect it all to be done. They don't really want to have to come in and do anything themselves. So you really got to nail the details, down to paint colors, down to finishes, down to staging the home. Think of it like if you're looking at a house in a higher price point, what is the biggest negative of the house? That's what you got to focus on, is shoring up any negatives, because that's what a potential buyer is going to look at. If you get a beautiful house and it's got a really tiny master closet, that buyer at that higher price point, that's what they're going to focus on, is a small master closet. Or if you back a busy road, in a lower price point, not that big of a deal, people will deal with it. But a higher price point home, that's going to be a major deterrent, and a lot of times it's a deal breaker. They won't even put an offer in. So underwriting the higher priced homes is much more critical to look at, not just the details of the house. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, but what neighborhood is it in? How close is it to busy streets? Are all the houses around it nice? Is there an ugly house across the street? Because that could affect a potential buyer. Does it have all the things that they're going to look for? Like, does it have a garage versus a carport? In Arizona, a pool is very important. For a higher priced home, if you don't have a pool, there's so many buyers that just won't buy it. So you really got to nail the details. Put yourself in the mind of the buyer and think through, if I was moving into this house, what about this house would I not like? And then try to shore up any of those shortcomings. So we got some similarities, we got some differences. I personally have gravitated towards the higher priced homes the more I've done it, because I like the challenge of having to create something that's really aesthetically pleasing, that has all the things that a buyer wants. I think as you get more experienced, you're going to naturally gravitate towards doing the higher priced homes because there's more reward, there's more profit on the back end. You just got to put a little bit more detail into it. Well, I hope that was helpful discussing the differences and similarities between a lower priced home and a higher priced home. If you got value out of this video, I'd love for you to check out my other videos. Like and subscribe to my channel. I got a lot more coming for you, so thanks for tuning in.